When I went home, after school, I used to go and switch the television on and perhaps, I don't know, read a comic or something. But these days, the first thing they do is they go home and switch on their computers. So they're used to working with their computers. So the fact that we're using tools that they are familiar with is a plus.
These Year 9s are new to Spanish, and they're using some animated speaking avatars on a website.
So you choose your character, so click done, and you have the character. I choose male, and you have different genres which have different animations. So I could click on him and it'd come up, and I'd be talking as a snowman.
They get to have a little fun playing with creating new, funny-looking images of funny characters. But at the end of the day, they have to record a piece of Spanish, and they're encouraged to use grammatically complex, and a range of vocabulary. This is really what we're looking for.
Well, I created a voci, and I'm just going to record onto it what we did in the lesson, about the subjects, like what we dislike and like. Me gusta mucho el español porque es muy interesante.
Me encantan las matemáticas y el español.
No me gusta tecnología porque es aburrido.
Me gusta el español, pero no me gusta nada el francés.
When you play it, it's exactly what you said into it, like that.
We use something like this every now and then in our schemes of work. We get to have all the boys using Spanish for at least a minute to recap and practice all the vocabulary they've been learning in the previous lessons.
No me gusta la historia porque es difícil.
No me gusta la geografía porque es aburrida, pero me encanta la historia. That bit there is excellent because you have no me gusta followed by porque followed by pero. So that's brilliant.
Gusta mucho las ciencias, pero mi educación la información.
They're not speaking to another person, they're speaking into a machine. That has a distancing effect, and they are able to perhaps not feel so shy. So they are able to just put the microphones on and start recording the Spanish piece. Then they're able to go back, listen to it, and some of the boys are making the changes. They just go back and re-record it until they get it right.
Yeah, I don't know. I might record another one, see whether it's better. Now that I've got time to do that.
Well, I'm going to do it again because I mispronounced that.
You mispronounced it?
Yeah.
You noticed this because you heard it, or did you realise as you were saying it?
I realised as I was saying it.
Okay, so have another go,
Okay.
and then upload that one. Brilliant.
Me gusta mucho el español porque es muy interesante.
Yeah, it's good. It helps practice your speaking because that's quite important if you did actually go to Spain. I prefer it to if we were just speaking in a lesson or something.
It's all quite private. You've got your own headphones. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just like the feeling of having your own personal stuff.
The outcome is that the character, at the end of the day, ends up speaking a minute's worth of Spanish.
Me gusta mucho el español porque es muy interesante.
Pero detesto la música.
Pero me gustan mucho las películas que son bastante interesantes.
Buenos días, chicos.
These Year 10s are using another live website to create multimedia posters to help them prepare for their GCSE oral. They're combining text, pictures and sound to illustrate the subject of healthy living.
We each wrote the text as part of an assessment, so different paragraphs on different questions, and then uploaded them onto here.
I'm finishing editing mine and putting my photographs in it, and then I will record it and then I can upload the sounds to actually go with it, so when people come on it, they can actually hear my voice as they read it.
No fumo. Mis amigas no fuman y mi familia no fuma.
Me gusta como el Apolo ensalada siempre vivo la televisión.
Como sana es muy importante mantenerse en forma.
Talking Spanish to each other is one of the hardest things that we can. Language teachers always have to set up all sorts of contrived situations for role plays in which they practice the language, but that's always in a very limited way. And this is the way by setting them setting a clear task with a very clear outcome. At the end of the day, they're going to have a poster, a multimedia poster with their own voices, and that focuses their efforts into the speaking. These web applications tend to be quite intuitive. They quickly grasp it. I mean, they grasp it quicker than I do.
And there's a little play button here which you can play when you watch it, and it will just play it and you can listen to it. And I just have to upload each voice. And I just put that button wherever I want it, and then I press the play button and it just comes up.
These texts are much easier to remember than if I'm just reading them out of my book. So, and it gives something for you to do while you're learning. So it really gets into your system. You get it into your head much easier.
It's easier because you can have as many goes as you want with it. If you mess it up, you can just press pause and delete and then do a new one. So if you're speaking to a person, you can't really go back on what you've done.
It's live on the internet, so they're not limited to school. So so this particular piece of work was started at home, and today they're finishing it off.
Lleva una vida sana tiene que comer las verduras y juega deporte.
Somehow they're detached from the fact that they're talking Spanish, so there's much less embarrassment, and it's a brilliant way of getting boys to speak.
Because the students' work is saved on an external website, their teacher can look at it on any computer and add helpful comments.
This is one from Max, for example. So I can give him advice straight away. So as soon as he's left the classroom, I can go and have a look, and he doesn't have to hand in his book or anything. I just can have a quick look at what he's done. I would say to him, please check the spelling of nobody. Otherwise, well done.
The students in this Year 11 class are refining their GCSE presentation. They're using another website to create a slideshow to illustrate the theme of holidays.
To get the pictures in here, I've uploaded them onto Stupaflix. I mean, most of them are sort of old holiday photos.
Well, first we added images in to help us with remembering what we should say in our presentation. Just recording our speech now.
El verano pasado fui a los Estados Unidos con mis amigos, pero tuve que ahorrar mucho dinero.
Hermosa y adoro el acento, pero generalmente...
Cuando hizo mal tiempo nos quedamos a la casa de mis abuelos y jugamos los juegos de mesa todo el día.
Okay, I've recorded it, so I'm now going to it's in my music, so I'm now picking the recording that I've just made up and putting it into the presentation.
What we've done so far is the boys have prepared the image slideshows at home, and then when they come here, I've asked them to record the oral presentation into the image slideshow. So at the end of the day, they will have a video in MP4 format that they can put on their iPods or take home and watch on their computers or just watch online, because it will stay on the website.
Cuando hizo mal tiempo, me quedé en mi habitación.
The fact that it's on the iPods or the mobile phones, it just gives them access to it, so they're more likely to access it if it's on their devices that they carry with them all day.
I did it by uploading my pictures first, finding what the timing was, and then just cutting and trimming my oral depending on what I had left.
In the exam, you're allowed to use something called a crib sheet, where you have 30 words. So you're allowed to take that in, but you have to memorise the rest of the presentation, which has to last a minute and a half beforehand. So this is just an aid to help you remember it.
Obviously, we're not allowed to take in the computers with us, but this is just like a little sort of exercise that helps us helps memorise it. I think like having the pictures and the words that come up at the bottom are just like words from actual crib sheet themselves.
Well, it's something new, so I guess it's kind of more exciting because you use PowerPoint for everything else you do. So it's kind of, because it's new, you have a bit of a buzz.
So does it work? Does it produce better spoken Spanish at the end of it? Yes, it does, because it focuses them into the speaking. It helps them identify which area they need improving, which bits they need to work on, and that's something that was clearly missing before we were able to have all these recordings in digital format.